You've been watching your brother and the damage he's been doing. Do you think that your brother is ready to take the next step and come to the NBA?
I think he's been ready for a while now. It's just about the right opportunity.
Errick Lane McCollum II, born January 22nd, 1988. I was one of those guys who knew what I wanted, and I knew what it took for me to get it, and I was gonna do everything to put myself in that position. I always said if I can make more money playing basketball than I can working, I'm gonna do it. Today's feature is the opinionated story of why Errick McCollum, aka CJ's older brother, never made it to the NBA. It's also to answer a personal question I've always had of why is it the younger brother or youngest in certain instances usually turn out to be the best or most successful brother when it comes to basketball. I'm also writing it because I hate stories like these. Ironically, it puts the older brother in the underdog spot and a position I tend to root for. We all love a great story of coming from the furthest to eventually make it to the big stage, and not only make it but exceed, doing it all as young as possible. We enjoy those because of the potential. The younger you do it, the better chance we can watch you do it for more years to come. We also understand that the first time anything happens leaves much room for error or ways to be refined. A first or previous child takes all the arrows as little sibling is protected by being in the perfect line of view to see the missteps along big brother's journey and all the things he can do to step on solid glass when it's his turn. Like having the answers to a test. The more tests you can see taken, the better. The quote earlier of Errick McCollum leaves a lot to unpack, but one thing's for sure, Errick's goal was to play in the NBA, and that hasn't happened. His younger brother CJ, though, was the 10th overall pick in 2013 to the only NBA team he's known so far. He was the most improved player in 2016, just last season had his best year in the NBA, averaging 23 points a game and 4.7 assists, shooting 40% from 3 for a third season, and is still right on the cusp of becoming an all-star. Errick's resume is also worth writing about, as almost every place he's went in his overseas journey, he's won MVPs and been the league's best player. In 2015, he scored a career-high 82 points in the CBA, making it the most points ever scored in the Chinese league, breaking Jimmer Fredette and Quincy Douby's record of 75. At this moment, most would say it ain't the NBA though. Through research and experience, here are 3 reasons why I think Errick McCollum's growth was stunted. It's your boy JC, Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Errick McCollum is a 6'2" guard from Canton, Ohio that was destined to become a professional athlete. His parents literally predicted it. Because of the fortune of having both strong parents not only present daily in the home, but athletically inclined themselves, he and younger brother CJ were given every opportunity to fulfill those prophecies. He attended Glen Oak High School, where as a senior, the brothers would finally get a chance to play together in CJ's freshman year. Both were actually better at baseball than basketball, according to Errick, and both were abnormally small as freshmen, Errick being 5'5" and CJ 5'2" respectively. By the end of his senior season, a 5-inch growth spurt came for Errick, while a Division I scholarship offer did not. Stunt number 1, not going to a Division I school. Errick would settle for Goshen College in Goshen, Indiana, a small NAIA D2 basketball program to begin his college career. I think Errick's first growth stunt was him at no point moving up from the NAIA Division II program, even after having immediate success that would last all 4 years to a Division I school. When Seth Curry left high school as an afterthought guard, he attended Liberty University, a low-major D1 for 1 season, then left for Duke for more exposure. The same should have been done in Errick's case. It's literally why many didn't even know CJ had a brother that's actually a high-level talent. The reason he even went to such a small school was because Division I schools all believed he was just too small for the type of game he had at the time. Much like CJ, he's always been the height of a normal to undersized point guard, except there's nothing point guard about his game. Sure, he can use screens, but scoring is usually the first and only option in McCollum's game off of them. Schools were turned off by his lack of growth, only for Errick to grow 2 inches the summer before actually leaving for Goshen College. The reason he didn't leave the D2 school sooner was because of how fond he grew of the Maple Leaf program and the doors unlocked, close-knit community the campus offers, making the experience one of the best things Errick says ever happened to him. I'm sure there he made great relationships, but more so, he was the man. He averaged 18.5 points a game as a freshman, 23 as a sophomore, along with 6 rebounds, shooting 40% from 3, and by his senior year, he was making SportsCenter's top plays and averaging 25.6 and 7 rebounds, becoming an All-American for the 4th straight year. At any point in those years, Errick could have jumped to a bigger school and had a lot better chance of the NBA noticing him. But he liked where he was. He was the man where he was. Sometimes you gotta take on new challenges though, especially when it could mean your talent being noticed. Stunt number 2, late development. Physically, we know by now that late growth spurts are a constant in the McCollum family, and that can't be controlled. But when I say development, I mean the kind you can only get by playing against top-level competition at least more often than you would get at a school like Goshen College. At least for the younger CJ, he got a chance to 1. Play in Division I, and 2. Every so often, play against a school like a Duke or Kansas. I still remember CJ McCollum scoring 30 points in the NCAA tournament to beat Duke in 2012 in a game I think made CJ into the lottery pick he became, completely outplaying Austin Rivers and Seth Curry. Not to mention his 27 against Kansas as a freshman in 2010. CJ had just enough to make you believe in his game as an NBA player while still being the man at his small school, getting the development he needed to be ready when opportunity arose. Fitting word because opportunity did come for Errick as well, having several workouts and summer leagues for NBA teams and they all feeling he was too small for the shooting guard position, which his game is tailored and not enough playmaking skills to transition to point guard. Looking at that on paper with the backdrop of playing at an NAIA Division II school makes it tough for the Goshen Maple Leafs all-time leading scorer to show he wasn't just an undersized shooting guard in a point guard's body that hasn't developed the necessary skills to be ready for NBA play. Stunt number 3, out of sight, out of mind. The gift and the curse playing overseas basketball is that while it can give a player who felt he's been given up on, undrafted, or looking to redeem himself the opportunity to continue playing and earning a decent salary, it can make people simply forget or not hear about you at all. Errick immediately went overseas after going undrafted as expected in 2010 to play in Israel, where he became the Import Player of the Year in 2012, then Greece, then China, in a total of 10 stops in a 2-year span. But he was having the success he wanted. In 2013-14, he led the Greek Euro Cup as well as the Greek League in scoring. 2-time first-team All-Euro Cup, MVP 2016 as well as champion, 2-time CBA scoring champion, including exploding in 2015 for 82 points, and the list goes on of individual achievements of Errick's overseas. But none of it was being recognized by the NBA, and no league opportunity came from it except for a few summer leagues and workouts. All in all, it confuses me why Errick didn't want to or wasn't being pushed to challenge himself a little more and at least put himself in position to be seen by the NBA. It's almost like he was afraid of what that would mean if somehow he failed. I get that. Happens in all walks of life every day. Or maybe for him, at some point, being comfortable was more important than making it to the NBA. Whatever it was, little brother shines again, and Errick McCollum is right there cheering him on. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, Errick McCollum's growth was stunted. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.